Ormond Beach Observers has had the mission of protecting sensitive habitat area and endangered species for over 22 years. During that time, we've had many victories. We've had a few setbacks as well. We really need your help. If you're interested in helping us, send your donations, care of Ormond Beach Observers, to Post Office Box 1210, Port Hueneme, California, 93044. Thank you very much.
It's a beautiful spring morning. We're looking at the Channel Islands, specifically Anacapa Island, from the shores of the Ormond Beach Wetlands. Welcome back to the program. I'm here with Al Sanders, Executive Director of the Ormond Beach Observers. How long have you had the pleasure of working with the Ormond Beach Observers, Al?
Well, I think we first started in 1990, so it's been 22 years.
And in that time, tell us a bit about your environmental battles to protect the wetlands here at Ormond Beach.
Well, there have been a number of battles, but the one that concerns us right now is probably the most important. The J Street Canal issue, which is a project by the Ventura County Watershed Protection District, has the goal of dealing with some potential flooding problems. They've determined that in a 100-year flood event, that there's a potential that water could invade certain low-lying areas around here and create difficulty. Our concern is that the plan they've devised seems to be based on faulty information that we disagree with. And so they want to lower the maximum height of the lagoon, possibly 1.5 feet, maybe even more.
The water level?
The water level.
And how would they go about doing that? Dredging the lagoon?
No, they're not going to dredge the lagoon, although that is part of the project. They want to lower the bottom of certain places in the lagoon.
All right, we're here at the J Street Canal, which J Street runs through Oxnard, Port Hueneme, and empties here into the Ormond Beach Wetlands area, just behind Surfside 3 in Port Hueneme. I'm with Al Sanders, the founder and president of the Ormond Beach Observers, and we're concerned about the ramifications of the widening of the J Street Canal. Is that correct?
That's right.
And the argument is that in the event of a 100-year flood event, that in this canal there'll be extreme damage to the homes and businesses in Oxnard and Port Hueneme. So they widen the they're going to widen the channel at the cost of about $33.5 million. And part of the project is dredging of the channel as it goes through the Ormond Beach Wetlands.
That's true.
Okay, and that also includes bringing down berms that would allow water to breach from the lagoon into the ocean and back and forth, introducing colder, saltier water. Let us know your position on the J Street Canal projects.
It's a very bad project. The Flood Control District, now called the Watershed Protection District, wishes to give itself permission to lower the maximum height of water in the canal. And there is a gauge behind us that shows that canal gets up close to 8 feet at this point. With the project as it's designed, the maximum height as they plan would be 6.5 feet. I believe that it'll actually be substantially lower than that, maybe 3.5, maybe 2.5. And so that means the water wouldn't even be as high as it is right now in very early spring. And so it's a gigantic change from a system that operates naturally with no human interference to creating a situation where people in this agency can conclude that it's 6.5 feet or even lower. The wetlands will be greatly diminished. The species that live in this area will be greatly diminished. And so the project is really in conflict with plans that Ormond Beach Observers and others have to try to do a major wetlands restoration project in this area.
Who did the environmental impact report for this project? And has it already passed? And is everything set in stone?
Well, The Watershed Protection District was in charge of putting together
Ventura County Watershed Protection District.
Yes.
Did the environmental impact report.
Yeah, and it had to be passed by the Board of Supervisors. It was passed unanimously. And some of us tried to get them to continue the item, to put together more information. I've said before that there were a number of fatal flaws in the information assumptions that were completely off target. And it's not unusual for people to make those claims, but in this case, it's really obvious that dams that they claim exist aren't present, that they relied on information that is at least decades old. And so their representation of how this system works is not even close to the reality as you can observe with your own eyes.
Was there a chance that someone could get a judge to vacate that decision by the supervisors in preference for a new environmental impact report?
Well, that is certainly possible, but that requires putting together the financing and attorneys, and it's a big job.
Okay.
Ormond Beach Observers has had the mission of protecting sensitive habitat area and endangered species for over 22 years. During that time, we've had many victories. We've had a few setbacks as well. We really need your help. If you're interested in helping us, you can send your donations, care of Ormond Beach Observers, to Post Office Box 1210, Port Hueneme, California, 93044. Thank you very much. You are looking at the Bubbling Springs Creek pump station, and the pump station is required because the water level in Bubbling Springs Creek is below the water level of the Ormond Lagoon. So the water has to be pumped uphill in order to be able to eventually flow into the ocean. And like you, I still wonder how they devised a system like this. They ended up spending hundreds of thousands of dollars recently to upgrade the pump station because they discovered that they were pumping water around and around and around in circles, and they burnt out their old pumps, had to put in new pumps so that they can pump water uphill. Very curious engineering endeavor.
Which makes me wonder, if they have to pump it uphill, why are they widening a channel for a 100-year flood event when their water level is already lower than the water level in the lagoon?
You are looking at the terminus of the J Street Canal, and the area upstream from where we're standing is the location where Bubbling Springs Creek comes into the canal. And as you can see, there are concrete walls and bottom to. This is the terminus of the J Street Canal that is now part of the Ormond Beach Lagoon, and there is a gauge just up the canal which shows that the water level right now is somewhere in the vicinity of, it's very close to 6.5 feet. So this is as high as the canal would ever get, according to the Ventura County Wetlands Protection District. There's a big problem with that because there are areas inland that would be wetlands if the lagoon was allowed to maintain its normal water height, which is above 7.5 feet. So the condition of the water would change substantially if there was a drainage to the ocean, and that would affect everything that lives in the lagoon and the wetlands, which are a little bit higher. Just behind me, the edge of this Ormond Lagoon is very close to the ocean, and it looks like an increase in the height of the water in this lagoon by just a couple of inches would force the lagoon to be breached by water moving from the lagoon into the ocean. And this is a direct result of the Watershed Protection District having using mechanical equipment to open a mouth for the water to run out of the lagoon 2 years ago. So here it is 2 years later, and we have a big expanse of water in front of me that has not been replaced by sand. And so the theory that Watershed Protection District is operating under is fatally flawed by the fact that having taken an action that caused the lagoon to drain 2 years ago, the area has not recovered from that action, and we have dunes right next to this area that are probably 6 feet higher than the height of the lagoon, and which is probably 2 or 3 feet deep here, maybe more. So there's probably a 10-foot difference between some of this area, which is inundated, and the sand dunes right next to that area. So this area of southern coastal foredunes is an endangered habitat that has been altered significantly by the actions of Ventura County Flood Control District. So my recommendation would be that responsible agencies create some dialogue with the district so as to remedy the impacts of this significant action, which has harmed the environment in the city of Oxnard. Well, I'm 5'8", and you can see that this dune right next to me, it has a height that's, probably 6'3", 6'4", and the water in what is now part of the lagoon is probably several feet deep here. So that is the height of sand that has been removed from this area by the flood control, I should say Watershed Protection District, and it has significantly altered the ecology of this area and will probably lead to this lagoon breaching at a relatively low water height as opposed to its normal procedure of only draining when the water is over 7.5 feet on their scale. These are native tules that should have the bottom part of the plant in water, and because a lot of the plant isn't in water, you see that some of the plant has died and turned brown. I think this is a result of the previous draining of the lagoon area, and it's altered the height of the water in the lagoon. So water should be a few feet behind me, but it's not. It's actually a substantial distance on the other side of the plants here. And so there's been a massive die-off of vegetation in this area, and of course altering the vegetation alters the ecology of the area, the plants and animals that can survive here. So we need to have some discussion with the Watershed Protection District about the harm created by altering the height of the lagoon. Ormond Beach Observers has had the mission of protecting sensitive habitat area and endangered species for over 22 years. During that time, we've had many victories. We've had a few setbacks as well. We really need your help. If you're interested in helping us, you can send your donations, care of Ormond Beach Observers, to Post Office Box 1210, Port Hueneme, California, 93044. Thank you very much.